This is the Dao De Jing, Dao De Jing, Chapter 10. The text is attributed to Laozi and is roughly 2,000 years old. This chapter is built almost entirely of questions, 6 of them, followed by 3 lines that answer something the questions never quite asked. What the chapter is pointing at is a quality of being that holds things together without forcing them, that acts without dominating, that knows without scheming. Sai ying po bao yi, néng wu lai hu, zhuān kai zhai ru néng yīng'ér hu, dai chu zhǎn lan, néng wu sai hu, a min zhai guo néng wu zhai hu, Tiān main kai hei néng wei sai hu, Míngbái sai da, néng wu zhai hu, Shēng zhai zu zhai Shēng bu yu wei bu shi Shēng bu zai shi wai zhǎn de. Can you carry your spirit and hold to the one, without letting them separate? Can you concentrate your breath until it reaches softness, like a newborn child? Can you cleanse the dark mirror of your mind until it is without flaw? Can you love the people and govern the state without resorting to cleverness? Can you open and close the gates of heaven while remaining receptive? Can you be clear and penetrating in all directions without deliberate knowing? To give life to things, to nurture them, to give life without possessing, to act without taking credit, to lead without controlling. This is called Zhǎn de, a xuán da, dark virtue, mysterious virtue. The chapter opens with a physical image, carrying your spirit and holding to the one. The word Chinese letter, po, refers to the earthly soul, the part tied to the body. The question is whether you can hold your inner life together without it constantly fragmenting, not through willpower, but as something naturally coherent. Then, breath concentrated to softness like a newborn. A baby's grip is strong, its body is completely without tension held against the world. The question isn't about becoming childlike in behavior. It's about the quality of aliveness that hasn't yet hardened into defensiveness. The dark mirror, Zhuān lan, is the mind as a reflective surface. The question is whether you can keep it clear, not through scrubbing, but by not adding smudges. The word Zhuān here is the same used for the Tao itself, deep, obscure, beyond easy naming. A deep mirror reflects truly. Then the chapter turns outward. Can you love people and govern without resorting to knowledge as a form of control? The character Chinese letter, Shai, appears twice here, and it's worth holding. It doesn't mean knowledge in general. It means a particular kind, the calculating, strategic, managed kind, the kind that quietly converts people into problems to be solved. Laozi is asking whether it's possible to care for others without reducing them to something you need to figure out. The gates of heaven opening and closing is often read as breath, or as the movements of perception, or as the rhythm of the world itself opening and closing. The question is whether, in all that movement, you can remain like the female principle, receptive without grasping, responsive without seizing. 6 questions, none of them directly answered. That's deliberate. The Dao De Jing trusts that an open question works on you longer than a resolved one. The final 3 lines don't answer the questions. They describe a principle, Zhǎn de, dark virtue. To give birth without possessing, to act without relying on what you've done, to lead without needing to be in charge. These aren't instructions for appearing humble. They describe how the Tao itself moves through things. Life arises. It's nourished. The source doesn't collect a debt. If you hold this chapter against ordinary experience, the questions have edges. Most people know the feeling of living slightly split, one part moving through the day, another watching to see how it's going, another preparing for what might go wrong. The chapter doesn't name this as failure. It asks whether it has to be this way. Can you love something, a person, a project, a place, without your care becoming a form of management? There's a kind of caring that slowly converts what it cares for into an object to be known and controlled. Parents do it, leaders do it, friends do it. The chapter doesn't condemn this. It asks whether there's another way through. The final lines point toward a mode of being in which your deepest capacity isn't expressed through ownership or credit or authority, but through something quieter, something that works even when no one, including you, can see it working. A teacher who doesn't accumulate credit for what their students discover. A leader whose people feel they got there themselves. A parent whose child grows into something genuinely their own. Not every reader will find a clean application here. That's honest. Some passages in the Dao De Jing are less about takeaways than about installing a question that keeps working on you after you've put the text down. This chapter may be one of those 6 questions that don't resolve, and 3 lines describing a virtue so deep it barely leaves a trace. 6 questions, 1 answer. The virtue that gives without holding. The next chapter is chapter 11.